Hi, everyone, and welcome to Chair Yoga. I guess welcome back. I'm going to start with a prayer I often just say to myself, but I'm going to invite you to join me as we begin. And that is that what needs to be said is said. What needs to be heard is heard. What needs to be released is released. And that which can be embraced is embraced today. So we're going to finish up on my topic of changing states to traits, giving one more day to that kind of meditative state of, how can we retain these positive states in our lives? How can we be that kind of a person on a regular basis instead of just enjoying it, as the wind blows it in and blows it back out? So that there's a practice that we can do to really draw that in. So I'm going to start with a little mini version of that as we begin our class today, and have you just find yourself in a place of right alignment. So you're sitting up tall, you're feeling your feet to the earth, you're feeling like you're in a place of good posture. So it feels to you like right alignment of the body. And then closing your eyes so you can begin to turn inward, that U-turn. And breathing in and out becomes your full awareness. And you don't need to manipulate the breath and try to make it any particular length of breath or kind of breath, but that you're just fully aware that you are breathing in and out, and you're sitting as best as you can in the full awareness of that. And to begin with, it's just a simmering down, isn't it? It's a settling. It works on the nervous system. That's the very basic tool for regulating the nervous system, is simply to become aware of your breathing. So it's accessible always for us to kind of calm down and settle. It's a good way to start a yoga class for sure. And we're going to kind of layer onto that this notion of states to traits, finding ways, practices, mindsets that can help us foster that. So I want you to find that breath in and out. And we're going to use some words, I guess, to, first of all, that the breath in is experienced in a lot of different ways. But today, let's use it as a way of drawing in or absorbing, or like we used in our beginning prayer, embracing. So the inhale is going to foster this drawing in, calling in something to your being. And the exhale is a release or letting go of, what keeps you from that. I'm going to use some words that I've come up with. You might have other ways of approaching it in terms of what needs to be let go, for example. But let's just work with these words for now, and I'll just plant the seed for you, maybe to use in your own meditation experience at some time. So take a big breath in and exhale it out. And then with the next inhale, inhale love and hold it, and exhale fear and release it. Inhale acceptance and hold it. Exhale judgment, release it. Inhale forgiveness, hold it. Exhale resentment, release it. Inhale joy, exhale lethargy. Inhale freedom, exhale expectations. Stay with your breath in and out as you come into this full awareness, mind-body connection of yoga. And fluttering the eyes back open. Bear with me as I just remind us that this idea of transferring states to traits came from the book Radical Compassion by Tara Brach. I highly recommend it if you're looking for a good read. And it's one of the reasons this is particularly a favorite book of mine is because of the practices. She's not just giving you a teaching and saying, there you go, good luck with that. She gives you a practice on how to sort of implement that, the new awareness or the new understanding that she's, offering up. So just a little brief paragraph from her states to traits part of the book. Making a desired state into a trait, an enduring quality of our being, requires two basic steps. The first is to have the experience, either by recognizing it when it arises spontaneously or by purposely eliciting it with a resource anchor. The second is to offer our full, sustained, and immersed attention to that positive state and to the self-sense that arises with it. It gives the positive experience stickiness, says psychologist Rick Hansen, so that it becomes installed in our long-term implicit memory for future retrieval. So more simply put, because we're talking about it, perhaps now when you're feeling particularly joyful, particularly at peace, particularly content, or something that's just striking, a state that you're in that is noticed, that you can now shift into holding on to that experience and breathing it in, trying to get it into the cells of your body, making it bigger, a very felt experience, not only in the mind, a thought process that is occurring, but that you feel it as an embodied experience. You're bringing it in purposefully, that you're aware of the fact that this could be of use to you, to honor this state that you're in and actually try to make it more a part of your ongoing state of being. So, and then that we can, if we can't always rely on, let's say, if our intention is to, really work on this, try to make that our goal right now is to work on that idea of states to traits, then we can, what they call a resource anchor. So in other words, you create it. You think about, I remember the time, and I'm going to give you an example in my own life, a time I was staying in the East Coast of Florida with my sister and her husband. I had a profound experience sitting out on their dock. And it had to, I won't get into the whole details of it, but it was sunlight was just astoundingly beautiful. The sunlight as it came in through the trees and reflected on the water was astoundingly beautiful. So that has become a resource anchor. I'll think of sunlight on the water, just those words, sunlight on the water, and I can bring myself right back to how I felt that day. And so it's become a resource anchor. So they'll give you an idea if you're trying to create those sort of things for yourself. So anyway, that's kind of the basics for the Live Your Yoga that I try to offer as part of our class. And now we're going to do the asana so we can just be into the body, which makes us more receptive to change, makes us more open, spacious to look at life maybe a little bit differently. So let's begin the asana practice. Let's get a block. If you're using a block today, let's bring that block between the thighs and line up your feet properly. So you have, it's like a spacer. The block creates the space between your thighs that you also want between your feet. So we're in kind of a very particular, almost right angle with the legs. It's kind of a right angle with the whole body. You're sitting up in a position that creates a right angle through the trunk and the legs, and then also how you've got yourself positioned with your feet to the ground. So let's begin now as we turn our palms up. Maybe bring your index finger and your thumb together in the palms up, that Yana mudra, that is one of just connecting to all that is. It's kind of a way of creating union within ourselves, that we have this sense that we're not alone. We're connected to all that is. So thumb to index finger, palms open, and we close the eyes now as we reacquaint ourselves with that breath pattern of in and out. And I would like you to use that mantra, just the simple words of in and out, so that you're focusing, you're training your mind to stay right here, right now with the breath. If there's any other particular intention that you have for class, I wanted to offer this moment here as we begin our asana to set that, so that you could set that intention for yourself, for your practice. Good. And we flutter the eyes back open. Let's sync up our breath as we inhale and bring palms together overhead. Exhale, bow into your own heart. Inhale up. Exhale, go all the way around with your arms, and arms are alongside the frame of the chair. Let's start with our familiar cat and cow movement. So arms pull back. Let's start in the spine. So inhale, extending the spine, really feeling the expansion through your rib cage, through your chest cavity. And when it's time to exhale, you round through the back body and feel just the opposite movement. This, of course, is done as a vinyasa, connecting breath to movement. Try to really exaggerate the movement, even though this is very, very familiar to you. This is today. You're doing it right here, right now. Your body's experiencing it right here, right now. So don't brush it off. Stay aware of the sensation in your body. It's always good for you. It's good for your spine to have this movement. Gets the fluids going, gets the circulation going, pumps the energy that's really stored in the pelvic area of our body, pumps that up into the body so it's available to your limbs. Beneficial in so many ways. Pay attention to the sensation. Get curious. Maybe you feel something different this time than you normally do because you were open to receive it. That's it. And back into our neutral position, our mountain pose. So palms face forward. Let's really draw those shoulder blades toward each other in the back. So we're really using our arms to create a very upright and extension through the back body. Now let's extend those arms out at shoulder height. Palms are wide open. Stretch your hands apart, thumbs pointing behind you. Breathe in and breathe out. Now I want you to turn your head to look from one hand to the other as a way of investigating how your neck is doing today, what kind of range of movement you've got. So the movement side to side is at your own timing. You're feeling your way in from side to side, lingering where you need to. So use this as an exercise to simply get into the awareness, knowing your body, knowing how your neck is moving today. How's it feeling? Beautiful. Now let's just flip the hands so the palms are forward and we've got reaching up to the ceiling. Get your arms as close to your head as you can do. Press your feet to the floor. So you're feeling this as a full body extension. Your feet are engaged. That means your whole legs, all the muscles of your legs are engaged. Get some engagement through the core strength. Pull the belly in. Feel your rib cage lifting up. Armpits are lifting. Arms are fully extended. No bend in the elbow. And even that you can feel that central channel of the body that runs right alongside, right along with the spine, that you can feel a lift and lengthen right out through the crown of your head. So full body experience here. Let's take our inhale together and exhale as the arms come down. Exhale completely before you inhale, also inhaling completely. And the legs stay engaged, your body is very engaged. Even though it's just the movement of the arms, you're fully engaged throughout the body. Let's change our breath a little bit. Inhale through the nose. When you come up, inhale through your nose if that's possible. Exhale out your mouth like you're blowing out a candle. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, blow it out like blowing out a candle. Fully exhaling. Last time. Inhale through the nose. Reach up. Exhale out the mouth like blowing out a candle. Excellent. Now, let's start rolling the shoulders. Shoulder rolls now. Just loosening up through the shoulder blades. The little modification, it's simple, but just giving you an FYI about that is if you put your hands on your lap, it's a little easier to do. Having your arms alongside the frame of the chair makes it a little more challenging, so you could choose. So really exaggerate. You're trying to get into the shoulder blades, and it might take 4 or 5 of these before you find like, okay, now I can feel my shoulder blades moving. That's very possible. Good, and then arms just alongside the frame of the chair. We come back to our mountain pose, turn palms forward. That just lets your shoulder blades stay in the position where we want them. They're rolled back to the back body instead of coming forward. Again, we're coming into that T shape. Inhale up, palms come together. Exhale, bow into your heart. We're kind of setting the stage here, creating a ritual all the way out with our exhalation. Now, I'm going to lose the block right away. Put the block underneath this chair and let's start moving. Now I want you to get your hands way back so you're holding on to the chair behind you. So I'm holding on back there. It creates a nice framework to keep that arch of the back going. And then I'm just going to lift up, lift up, lift up. Now, instead of just keeping your legs lifting up kind of right within this certain framework, I want you to see if you can lift it more like you're kind of extending your legs a little bit out. So the lift up is both lift the knees and also lift the calves, lift the shins up too. That's it. Now we got that pattern. Let's get our hands on our shoulders and do some work that's really going to help fire up the abdominal wall. So we're going to lift up and tap our elbow to the opposite knee and get your foot up too. A little more lift this time. Keep yourself within the frame of the chair, so that's going to keep it nice and kind of tight, if you will, in a good way, not sloppy. So getting the abdominal wall warmed up right off the bat. Last time, tap each knee, come back to neutral, make sure you feel supported in your chair, you know, that you didn't get too far forward, but you feel very well supported. Then let's just turn side to side. Use this as a twisting action, warming up the waistline a bit. Turning your head to go with the turn is up to you. I pretty much keep my head stationary. I'll get a little dizzy when I turn my head time and time again, but not everybody does, and some people really like that turning. So you decide what works best for you. But in the meantime, we're letting these wings, these little chicken wings that we created in our body, rotate the body and warm up those side body muscles. Excellent. Let's release that into the T. Stretch out those palms. Take a look side to side. See how your neck feels now, because you worked your shoulders, and that has a direct correlation to how your neck feels. See what that did for this range of movement or just the felt sensation in your neck. And we'll meet with arms up in the air. Let's kick a leg out and touch the hands to the toe or to some part of your leg. Back to abdominal strength and moving through the shoulders. Find a rhythm that matches with your breath. It's not like a vinyasa where you're inhaling, doing one thing, and exhaling, doing another thing. It's more like that you're just feeling the rhythm of the movement and the breath that's associated with that rhythm. Breathing in and out through the nose or using your mouth like you, however it seems natural for you. Let's lift and hold. Doesn't matter which leg you're on, lift and hold. Draw that leg up, 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 stretch it out. Try to push through so that the knee is not bent. You're holding onto the foot, perhaps, onto the calf. Lift, lift, and hold. Deepen the breath. And I want you to come off to the side. See if you can kind of rotate it away from center. You could use both hands for that. You create it. Stay stable with that standing leg. That gives you a nice foundational support. Rotating out and back in. Now see if we can bend that knee and keep the shin parallel to the floor and straighten it back out. Pulling that knee in towards your armpit, perhaps, straightening it back out. So it's not this kind of bent knee, but instead it's keeping that leg straight and then the shin stays parallel to the floor the whole time. Excellent. Let's bring it back to center and back to the floor. Take a pause now. Reset your body in any way you need to. Let's go back to the movement that got us there. And then we'll get the other leg up in the air. And stretch it out. Push through the heel, push through the sole of the foot so you're straightening out that bend of the knee, holding your leg in any way you need to. Feel that stability of your standing leg so you feel secure in the chair. Deepen the breath now. It's really vital that we just go back to the breath time and time and time again so that we can make all of this that we're doing in the body, all these movements and strengthening, ways of creating more flexibility in our body. If we want that to be real, just like we want to change a state to a trait, we have to really embrace it with breathing it into us. Breathing it into us so it's bigger. Let's rotate out. Straighten the leg. This one's just harder to straighten. Best as you can. It's, I always say, feel straight to me. That's a straight leg to me. And then we're going to do that bent knee. So drawing that bent knee in towards your armpit and then straightening it out so the shin will stay parallel to the floor. Holding onto the chair is not a bad idea. So you've got a lot of stability here. So you're able to move with that bent knee, straight leg. Stay focused on your breath and the sensation that you're experiencing in your body. Good. Let's stay with this leg now. Cross it over. Cross it right over to lay our ankle and our side of our leg right onto the top of that thigh. I want you to start massaging that leg down now. Sit up tall. Make sure you're situated. I can find myself kind of wandered off into a different position on the chair. I want to get centered and feel really supported by the chair. Don't forget the crease, that crease where your leg meets your pelvis. Get right in there with your thumb and with your fingers. Just get in there. So it's a very tight tendinous tissue for most of us. So don't be afraid to just kind of get in there, kind of push in there and see if you can soften it even just a tiny bit. We're going to cradle the baby today. So that means we're going to scoop that leg up and hold it in a way that, kind of resembles cradling a baby. It might not look like anything like that for you, but I just want you to hold your leg up in any way. So if you can't wrap your arms around it, I'm showing off on this one because I can do it on this leg pretty well. I can't do it so well on the other leg. So I want you to just cradle that baby, getting that leg up. So again, we're looking at the shin, kind of really using that as a reference point for us today. And getting it, a horizontal position with that shin as much as we can. And then the cradling part is probably the most important. And that means the rocking of it. Your body really responds to, your mind body responds to this rocking action. It's calming. The nervous system says, oh yeah, I know what that does. I know what that feels like. So just rocking and feeling the experience. And maybe you start to get some curiosity about moving not just side to side, but there's sort of circular movement perhaps, or you're just curious about what other kinds of movement you could create in that hip. Let's give it one more full breath cycle. And then we're going to lay that ankle down or leg down. And I want you to get tall with your spine. Let your arms come across the shin onto your legs, whichever way you want to bring your chest forward and back. Come forward as far as you can. You know, you'll find a stop sign. There's the stop sign. Come back up. Keep pushing, leaning into that stop sign, using that metaphor, and coming back up. Eventually, I hope you'll come to a place where you're willing to hang out, leaning into that stop sign region and allowing your body to now just sort of melt into a deeper fold. Intense sensation, for sure. So there has to be a willingness to feel that and to be patient with your body, to be patient enough to stay with your full breath in and your full breath out. So you're staying fully aware of this intensity. But watch what the exhale does for you over time, how that exhalation softens, starts to soften. The resistance in the body is softening. Let's come back up right now. No hands, no. Let's get our hands back to hold on to the chair behind us. And so when we put that leg back down, we're just training this range of motion now. We're training our leg to create this particular range of movement. We're not using our hands to create it, to force the issue. We're just training ourselves to have that kind of ability to move through our leg and hip. Last time. Good. And so the other leg now, let's just try it. We'll just pattern it a little bit to begin with. And then we'll pull it in and set ourselves up. We start with the massage. Make sure, by the way, that your standing leg is well positioned. Sometimes that foot will start to tuck underneath the chair or get, we move it some way that isn't really useful. So make sure it's positioned well so that your standing leg is truly a good source of support, a bracket of support for your top leg. So don't forget that crease. Now find your breath, back to the breath. Then when you're ready, it's cradle the baby time. So you fold forward, you scoop that leg up, and you try to get your shin into a horizontal position. Let's see what I can do. And notice where you feel it. That's why I'm like so aware, this one being so much more work than the other hip, that, where I'm feeling it, to get my leg up there, like I'm saying, where I'm feeling it in my back, the muscles, the QL, that big muscle in the lumbar region of your back, that QL is just like barking at me. So I'm feeling it all different ways. So just be aware. But then the cool thing is, it's not a big deal. As soon as I got in it and I'm in it, that QL is settled right down. Interesting, huh? So we're rocking. Try to keep yourself upright. It's easy to cave in, but I want you to try to keep yourself upright. Keep your rib cage expanded, tall with your spine. And remember, we're going to explore different ways. It can be more than side to side. So what you're watching me do doesn't have to limit you. You're going to find what really appeals to you. All kinds of different ways you're looking for sensation. Let's lay it back down. Now lay that ankle down onto our thigh, and then we're going to start a forward and back movement. Forward to the stop sign and back up. Start to ease our way in, being kind and compassionate to our body, not a bullying action at all. And when you feel ready, and maybe you're just going to keep rocking forward and back, and that's a better solution for you in the long run, then I encourage you to do that. If you're ready and able to start that forward movement where you're allowing now gravity to help you hold the pose and deepen the pose, with your full breath in and your full breath out, allowing and embracing the sensation as it shows up. Soften into the breath, and that softening will translate into less resistance in your hip, less resistance in that crease or the buttocks, wherever it is you're feeling that. And remember, it's the chest that's leading this. Try not to pull your face forward, because that's pulling your head out of alignment with the spine. And that's not good in the long run. So be mindful that you're keeping your alignment principles in play. Deepen the breath. And let's come back up. Again, we're going to get hold of the chair. And we just need a few of these again as we bring that leg up and down. Good work. All right, let's lift up. Stretch the whole body, push your feet to the floor. We did this at the beginning, so I want you to do a full body experience here. All of the muscles feel engaged. You feel an expansion through the chest. Lift up and exhale down. And this time, can you lift yourself right up out of the chair? You got to come forward, lift yourself right out of the chair. Excellent. Lift up, palms together overhead. Exhale, bow into your heart. Inhale back up. And exhale, go all the way around like a backstroke. I want you to do a couple more of those backstrokes. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale all the way around. Excellent. Let's do a little walking, just a little balancing movement here. So I want you to just position yourself. I'm giving you a side view just because I think it's going to be a little more useful. You don't probably need to turn any different way. So hands at the waist. I want you to just step forward with your right foot, come back, step sideways with your right foot. So it's always the right foot, or just one foot at a time. You're going to work on it. Standing leg stays standing. It's not moving. And you're just alternating from a forward step to a side step to a back step. Find a drishti. Now look away. Don't be looking at the screen by any means. Look away. Find a place to stare as you're just moving yourself through space. Step, step side, step back. So just find that movement, always leaving the standing leg right where it is. Forward. And you can mix it up. The pattern I chose doesn't have to be your pattern. Couple more. Let's meet with the foot forward. Meet with your foot forward. And if you're feeling like I sure could use that chair, turn your chair in such a way that you've got access to the back of the chair so you can put your hand on it. But I want you to scissor your legs. So you've got one foot in front, but all 10 toes are facing the same direction. All 10 toes are facing the same direction. I want you to create for me, I'm going to face you now. I want you to create for me this W shape with the arms. So straighten your legs, straighten your arms, bend into your front knee and come into that W shape with your arms. Inhale, straighten the arms, straighten both legs. The back leg, by the way, is staying straight. Let's go. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, find a drishti, find a place to stare at so it'll keep you steady. And you need a long breath in and a long breath out to do justice to this movement. Arch the back body. It's a back bend. When you're coming into the W arms, you're doing a back bend, and you're also doing warrior one, a version of that, a variation. Remember, you could always have one hand on the chair. No apologies. It's a great way to do it to steady yourself if you're needing that today. Let's come into the bent knee, but instead of the arms bent in the W shape, Let's just extend the arms up, palms facing each other. So then you can find a little back bend here. Pull your hands back and watch how your rib cage just lifts up and maybe tilts back. That's a back bend. Excellent. Let's bring palms together overhead. Exhale as we bow into our heart. Inhale back up. Exhale all the way around with the arms. And then bring your legs together, and I want you to shake out. Shake your legs. Buzz your lips. Boo like a bee. Buzz your lips. Shake your arms. You know, kind of shaking your legs. Buzzing. We're just shake, shake, shaking. It's going to change the energy. It's a great clearing. It's a great clearing. So include the lips, buzz them, boo, like a bee. And then let's do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to step forward with the left foot. So the other foot now. And so remember, we're trying to bend into that knee, just so you just kind of feel your way in, so you know that you took the proper step. How big of a step can you manage? So straight legs, arms up. Take an inhale. Exhale, W arms and bent knee. There's our vinyasa. Inhale and exhale. Find a drishti. Find a focal point with your eyes. And really lengthen the breath so you have time to be in and experience each part of these poses. That's it. Reach up. Let's hold it with the bent knee now. And instead of the W arms, we just reach our arms up, palms face each other. And you can create the back bend. You pull your hands back, you'll feel a little arch of the back. You feel your rib cage tilt. Now, how you're moving your head is individual. Some people can look straight up, can tilt their face to look straight up to the ceiling because it's just, they've got that kind of flexibility through their neck. If you've got that or any part of that, please explore that. But if your neck doesn't have that kind of mobility, just hold your head in a more neutral way. Deepen the breath. Good, let's bring the head neutral and bring palms together. Let's take an inhale together. Exhale, bow into your heart. Inhale up. Exhale, go all the way around with your arms. And let's get our feet back together and we'll shake out again. Including the buzz. Let's buzz through the lips. All right, I'm going to get the chair in position now to use it a little bit. Don't think I need the block. I kind of like this side bend where you got your hand on the chair, reaching one hand up and over toward the chair. So it's just a stabilizing way. You could have your hand on your thigh and slide it down the side of your leg or holding onto the chair. But here's where you really want to pay attention to how your ears are moving your head, that you're aware of how your head tilts, because you kind of have an awareness of your ears. Top arm comes right past your ear, and the bottom ear is kind of facing down. See if you can find that kind of awareness. Really bending, trying to get a deep bend of the body. Good, let's try this now. Interlace your hands so that your palms can face out. Lift those arms up, palms are facing the ceiling. Let's try a side bend now. So both our arms are reaching up and over, but really try to get your head to lean into your arm, that top arm, top ear. Make that contact and you're going to feel a real stability of your neck head area. That it's just like, oh, my head is fine. I don't have to worry about my neck getting hurt. It's just like a real nice brace, if you will. Breathe in, breathe out. Lift yourself back up. Let's release that. Let your hands open and close, so your fingers get to stretch out from that. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. A nice wide stance. up and overhead. Use the chair or not. But you're trying to really deepen your fold. You're trying to really, I should say, side bend. You're trying to really deepen that side bend. Notice what your breath is doing, how your head and neck are doing. Linger. I'm kind of up and down, but you don't need to do it that way. You could hold and stretch. Let's interlace our hands now. Do the same thing over here. So interlace your hands, palms out, arms come up. So palms are facing up and away from the body. And now get your arm right alongside your ear to support your head and neck. And bend as deeply as you're able to do. Maybe you soften your knees a little. Find the fullness of breath. Feel that exhalation come through your body. Go back for more inhale. Excellent. Let's come back up. And we take a big stroke, a back stroke to come out. Let's shrug and release. Shrug and release. Shrug and release. Good. I'm going to turn the chair to use. It's just because it kind of highlights what we're doing. It's really not necessary for anything else. It's to do the chair posture, the actual chair stretch where we're into the thighs. I like to use it because we can hover above the chair seat. Feet are hips distance apart, toes are facing forward. You're going to just shift your weight back. So it takes the weight out of the knees and it feels like you're just hovering your pelvis over the chair seat. Hands can be like mine are, which are just pressing into my thighs. That's probably the easiest, most supportive way to do it. And when then there's variations, let's stand up a minute, take a break, and I'll show you some variations to do, which are different things you do with your arms and hands. So start with that hovering, a squat that pulls your body weight away from your knees and back toward the back of the chair, really. Palms could be together in the prayer position. I find the most challenging to be raise your arms alongside your head and then bring your palms together overhead. That's for me the most challenging way to do this. So one of those variations, let's come back up, catch up with your breath, reset your body, any movements at all that you need to do. I need a Kleenex. And let's do one more chair pose, and that's what it's called, Uttanasana. And hover yourself over the chair seat. Keep your body weight pulled back away from your knees. Just to remind you, if your knees hurt, don't do this at all. Just don't do it. Wait for the next pose. When we come out of it, let's bring our hands to our prayer position at the heart. Consider this a mountain pose. You're just bringing yourself into awareness of your feet, your legs, and let's close the eyes. I want to do that breath practice I opened with. So let's just do it standing here. If you want to sit down, you're welcome to. Standing now, palms together. Inhale love, hold it. Exhale fear, release it. Inhale acceptance, hold it. Exhale judgment, release it. Inhale forgiveness, hold it. Exhale resentment, release it. Inhale joy, hold it. Exhale lethargy, release it. Inhale freedom, hold it. Exhale expectations, release it. Let's flutter the eyes back open. And we'll try now a downward facing dog. So position yourself to face the seat of the chair. Palms come to the chair. We start walking backwards. I got to get rid of my block and start creating now the downward facing dog posture. See if you can, with the warm up in our body pretty well in place, see if you can straighten your legs out more so than usual. Really work on straightening the legs, no bend in the knee or as little bend as you can do. Keep your arms close to your head so your neck feels supported. Pull back through the buttocks. Press your heels to the ground. Press your toes too. Stay with the pose. Stay with your full breath in and full breath out. Be curious, feeling and experiencing this new today. One more full breath, pull back. You're kind of pushing your butt muscles back toward the wall behind you. And we're going to exhale now as we come back toward the chair. I want you to round your back body on purpose. And then keep your head down and your chin tucked as you come up slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, until finally, the very last thing is you lift your head up. While we're standing here, and again, using your chair, you could flip it around so the chair is available for you to hold on. I want you to do some toe balancing. So I want you to lift one heel at a time. This is going to work out a lot of tension in the feet. So I want you to get your movement through the feet, up onto the toes, into the balls of the feet. Now, for those of you who want to try something special today, remember the chair pose that we did? Let's say let's try it with hands together. We come into that chair position. See if you can add lifting your heels up right here. Palms stay together. Let's get our heels to the floor. Now, one more thing, one more layer. Let's bring our feet together. That'll require a little more balance. Take a moment now to feel your way in. Stay steady, feet are together. This time it's going to be a twist, a chair that comes into a twist. So we squat down like we did, like we're hovering our bottom above a chair seat. And then elbow wraps around to the outside of the thigh. We've got our elbows stacked. Our ear is facing the floor. Press your palms, find a drishti. Unwind to center. Let's come back up. Can you hold yourself right here with legs together? If not, just reset your body, move around. I'm just catching up with my breath. We're going to twist the other way. So find that squat, get your body weight back away from the knees. Legs are joined together like a mermaid leg. And now we revolve ourselves so our elbow can come to the outside of the other leg now. Ear is facing the floor, top ear reaching toward the ceiling. Palms really pressing into one another. Really press your palms together as a way of stabilizing. It's like an anchor. Unwind. Let's come back up. And now let's shake it out. Shake the limbs, kick it out. And let's make our way now into our chair again. Before we come into Shavasana, let's do one more pose. I want to do a nice twist. So let's come forward on the chair. You're not into the backrest, and I just want you to cross your legs. And center your knees. Your stacked knees are kind of centered. Inhale up with me. Lift up those palms. Lift up so you feel that real extension of the arms. Turn towards your top leg. As you're exhaling around, you're going to grab hold of your chair, or maybe you're going to take the back of your back hand and press it into the back body. So it pulls your shoulder. Let's do that. Try it to begin with. You're sweeping that hand behind you. The back of your hand is pressing into the back body. It pulls that shoulder back and it helps you to revolve deeper. The other arm can cross right over your thigh, and there's some leverage by pushing your forearm into that, or maybe you're holding onto the chair in some way. And once you're set up, you're free to just sort of let it go, put your hands where they feel more natural, or you deepen it in any way, but you came into it with all this good intention of proper alignment. And then you can explore how it fits and suits you best. Remember, we want a vertical spine. If you're feeling yourself leaning, that's something you want to fix. You want to balance yourself right to left in your pelvis. That way you can see it supports a verticality of the spine. And you're turning your head on purpose because you want to stretch. You're trying to find more range of movement in your neck. Deepen the breath. That always helps. Always good yoga. And then unwind your head. Unwind your shoulders. And we'll recross our legs now to the other side. Make sure you're balanced in your pelvis. At least we start out balanced right to left, right? Inhale up. I like the interlaced. I don't know why. It just feels like it's really giving us strong arms. Inhale up. Exhale as we turn and twist, and we're going to sweep that back arm behind the back. Press the back of your hand into the back part of your body where it seems to land. It'll pull your shoulder and your shoulder blade back. The other arm can be used as an anchor against your thigh, that top thigh, or you're simply holding onto the chair in some way or holding onto your leg in some way. So there you go. We start with really good alignment principles. We're balancing right to left, keeping a verticality about our spine, and we're revolving and including our head and neck so we can create more spaciousness, more range of movement, any amount. Deepen your breath. Let's unwind the head and then the shoulders, and we'll uncross the legs. And I want you to open into a wide stance and circle around. Circle around. I almost forgot to do any work for the perineum, and I want to stay committed to that toning. So the next time you're in the forward movement, so the back body is in that diagonal line, we're pressing into our legs. We're holding our body in that diagonal position now. And I want you to press into your legs. And at the same time, as you inhale, you're lifting through the perineum. You're trying to hover the floor of the pelvis up away from the chair seat. Exhale, just soften and relax back into a more neutral position. Inhale, lift and hold, lift and hold. And then release. Inhale, lift and hold. Press your feet. Lift and hold. And release. Let's do 2 more of those. It's the Mula Bandha for those of you yogis that like to kind of be in touch with the parts of the body through the Sanskrit lens. We're lifting up through the Mula Bandha, and we're using that Uddiyana Bandha, which is your belly button. All of that's in play to keep a tone, a good proper tone of the perineum. Good. Let's come back upright and bring your legs back together. And then maybe now it's time to just scoot back. Unless you've got a pose you want to do and you haven't done it yet, this is a good time. Otherwise, we're sort of making our ritual of transitioning now into final relaxation and meditation time. Eventually, you're going to land into the chair in a way that's just settling. Maybe you grab a second chair, maybe you get onto a recliner, or you lay down on your couch. I know a lot of people who love legs up the wall, so they scoot themselves right up on the floor and get their legs up the wall. So whatever way you have found to be really ideal for your sense of relaxation and calming, this is the time. It's a ritual. So everything else we just put aside in favor of getting comfortable and quiet. Remember those 5 principles of wholeness, kind of recognizing that we're on the path, is that our body has a sense of flow. So the word flow, a spaciousness, light, love, and stillness. So start to settle in, feel the comfort of this time of your yoga practice, the reliable time when you calm down, rest, meditate, come into stillness. It's the highlight for many of us. The highlight of our practice is these last few minutes. Remember breathing in and out and using a simple mantra like that, in and out, keeps your mind on task. So I encourage you to do whatever you can to keep your mind located right here in the sensation and the experience that you're in. Don't wander off, not yet. Stay here, stay now. I'm going to read from my trusted Promise of a New Day, Daily Meditations, book of daily meditations. It's been with me for years and years. Today's reading. A quote from Georgia O'Keeffe. Rivers and roads lead people on. Life is flowing and continuous. It is full of crossroads, tributaries, and sudden bends. To live is to travel, and navigable space attracts us. We want to follow the road or the river to find what lies around the next bend, over the next rise. The mere fact that they exist seems to tell us that we should follow them. No one has ever lived our lives before us. This moment we are in, a space and time that have never been traveled. Many past events prepared us for this moment, and we may often feel as though we were following a track that has been laid out for us. But at other times, we feel as though we were strapped to the nose of a rocket, plunging through space where no one has ever been. Then, at times, and we wish they were less rare, we become one with our path, immersed in our lives unquestioningly. This is the condition we prefer, when the river that leads us through life simply flows. I will endeavor to accept my life. It is taking me where I need to go. Let's everybody take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale that out through the mouth with a sound of ah, a big cleansing breath. Let's do another one just like it. Inhaling through the nose and sighing it out with a sound throughout the body. Beautiful. So if you're watching me on YouTube today, I thank you for joining me, and I ask you to please subscribe to my station, to my channel, I guess. And this I'll ask today is that you write a comment. The comment is that I'm looking for is not that you say, good job, Julie. I'm looking for people to step up and make a comment about the value of chair yoga. Of doing chair yoga is the real deal, that you feel the experience of yoga like just like anybody else. So if you're willing to add a comment, I'd surely appreciate it. Well, let's close it out. Inhale now as we bring our arms up and overhead. Exhale as we bow into our hearts. Inhale back up. And exhale, let's share that beautiful, peaceful, loving energy with our communities. Again, thank you for joining me. Palms come together at our heart. Let's bow to ourselves and bow to one another. Namaste, my friends.